Oh, hey beautiful people, it's Mizko here, and today we need to have a quick chat. We need to have a quick chat because there's been something that's been sort of on my mind and I really need to get it out there. So many people have been asking me the same questions along the lines of, what are the exact steps to becoming a UX designer? What are some of those exact skill sets that I need to become a successful UX designer? Or even this random curveball, how long does it take to become a successful UX designer? Now, it really does baffle me sometimes by the fact that people are asking these questions as if there is a systematic way to becoming a great UX designer. Now, to also help illustrate this analogy, I want you to imagine yourself playing and immersing yourself into this game called The Last of Us. This was definitely one of my favorite games on the PS4 a couple of years ago. Now, the entire premise of this game is that you control the main character called Joel, and his role in the game is to help lead a teenager girl called Ellie through a post-apocalyptic United States. Now, imagine you are on level 1, you are trying to figure out different strategies, the different paths that you need to take, you're fist fighting with infected animals and you're getting attacked by these really weird and scary creatures, and you keep dying and you keep losing. Now, if you are genuinely passionate about the game and you really want to get through it, would you turn to Google to find all the shortcuts? Or would you actually spend the time to grind it out, to figure out what works, what doesn't, trying to improve your strategies, trying to get the timings right, trying to sneak around the corner a little bit more effectively, trying to make less noise as you're moving around the map so the creatures don't see you? Well, if you are there playing the game, just trying to get through it as quick as you can, well, potentially yes, like you might be looking for cheats. But if you are genuinely passionate about the game and you are a long-term fan and you really want to get through it and try to get the most value out of it, well, you're going to definitely, I would assume, you're going to grind it out. You're going to take the time, you're going to enjoy the failures, you're going to enjoy the wins and the successes as well, because you're the one who figured the way out and you weren't given the answers. You actually tried, you grinded it out, and you got to the place where you wanted to get to through hard work, perseverance, and grit. Now, this is exactly the same as the way that you should be thinking about becoming a UX designer or even growing as a UX designer. It's not about the technicalities. It's about having the right mindset to grow as a UX designer, having a genuine passion about it, so you can turn UX design from just a set of technicalities, a toolkit of processes, into a genuine passion that you will use to create very meaningful and valuable things that makes your life more interesting as well. And I can also guarantee you, if you start to shift the idea away from the step-by-step process, the technicalities, and onto building a genuine passion and interest in solving problems creatively, then all the decisions that you make will start to shift. So for those who are asking, what is that step-by-step process to becoming a UX designer? You won't be asking that question because you'll be spending the time in actually turning an idea that you've got in your mind, put it down on paper, you'll start to figure it out and start to design your own product in Figma, Sketch, or Adobe XD. You'll figure out that process, and then you'll start to build a genuine passion in it so much that you might even learn how to build it in Webflow, or you might even discover some other no-code tools like Bubble or Editor X to create and bring these prototypes to life. You also won't be asking, what are those exact skills that I need to become a UX designer? Because you'll be spending most of that time actually putting together a prototype and design or product that you want to bring to life, and you won't actually need to ask these questions because you are down in the trenches actually doing it yourself. And this is so much more powerful than me simply telling you via a YouTube video, because you understand exactly what it takes to become a UX designer. Even though you don't have a formal education around it and process, you still understand how you can take an idea that's just in your mind onto paper, onto Figma, and potentially how you can actually bring it to life in a product like Webflow, Editor X, or some of you guys I know for a fact have started to learn how to do basic HTML and CSS, and you will start to build it out. The reason why I am so passionate about this is because this is the exact way of how I became a UX designer. It was simply no education, no nothing, no mentor, no YouTube videos. I just simply had an idea in my mind and I wanted to bring it to life. And I would simply just try to figure out, how can I do this? So trust me, what really does set great UX designers from the good is simply curiosity, perseverance, and a genuine passion in solving problems creatively. You don't need to have a well-equipped process where it is so defined and it's a step-by-step process, whether it's to become a UX designer or whether it's the actual design process itself. People can see and people can feel and people can vibe how passionate you are about UX design. And that is what holds the most weight in whether you were applying for a role or you were trying to grow as a UX designer. And what I've realized is the UX design industry has been growing so fast. We've got boot camps, we've got formal education, Google has released their own UX design course. Now, yes, the UX design industry is growing at an insane rate. There are so many companies, great companies looking for UX designers, but there is definitely a lack and shortage of great and passionate UX designers. Yes, there are a lot of people graduating from boot camps, but they are taught and they don't realize that there is a clear separation from people who are focused on the technicalities that come through from boot camps and people who are genuinely passionate about solving creative problems. Because the two will have very different thought processes and decisions when they're applying for a role or whether they're trying to grow in their career. One will focus on the entire career and journey as a checklist where they need to check things off and they need to make sure that they do one thing at a time and they'll ultimately, hopefully, get to a point where they want to get to. And the other doesn't have a checklist. They're genuinely so passionate about it that they will throw themselves in there, just like the game The Last of Us, and they will try to figure things out on their own. And they will really build a passion and interest in what they do. Because when you are faced with so many different challenges that you're interested in solving, then that just makes the entire journey so much more enjoyable than simply just trying to check off a checklist. So whether you have recently graduated from a bootcamp or you've been a UX designer in the industry for a couple of years and you feel a little bit stuck and you don't know what should be next for you, I want you to try focus on shifting your mindset away from the checklist type approach and think about what is it? What do you find most meaningful in UX design? And try to realize that you are making a much more impact, a much larger impact than a simple checklist of things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis. And if the company that you work for doesn't offer you the opportunity to really see a meaningful outcome or value in what you do, then maybe it's time for you to consider a different role as well. Because trust me, the only reason why I'm so passionate about UX design is because I see the value and I see the impact that it has on not just for myself, but also the world as well. All right guys, so hopefully this video gave you a little bit of a new perspective on UX design and hopefully it's a little bit more refreshing, and I will see you in another video very, very soon.